There are 4 main ways that I'll pack up my buttercream, and it depends on when I'm going to use it and what I'm using it for. First is just putting plastic wrap over a bowl. This is for when I'm going to be using it to stack and fill a cake, so it doesn't need to be in a piping bag. It's not ready to be piped. I want it to be easy access in a bowl, and I'm going to be using it pretty soon. So I'm using this tomorrow to stack and fill a cake. I prefer to use glass bowls so that I can toss it in the microwave for 5 seconds, 10 seconds to soften it up a bit, especially in the Canadian winters because it gets cold overnight, so this will harden up overnight, even just left at room temperature. So I like to have it in a glass bowl so I can easily warm it up with the microwave or just by running some hot water along the edge of the bowl. Next up is a Tupperware, obviously very similar to the bowl. This is for buttercream that I'm not going to be piping, but we'll be using for details on the cake where I want to be able to access it with a spoon or a knife or whatever. Usually for buttercream that I'm not using right away, either the next day or the day after, and this can go in the fridge or just on the countertop for a couple days. Next up is just right in the piping bag. This is for buttercream that I'm going to be using very soon, and that I'm going to be using to stack and fill a cake, but with a filling. So I need it in the piping bag to be able to do the border to make the dam to hold the filling in. So rather than having it in the bowl, I put it right into the piping bag because I'm going to need it in the piping bag anyways to pipe the dam. Lastly, most efficient, I use this one all the time, is my buttercream sausages. So it's just the buttercream rolled up in plastic wrap. This is for buttercream that I'm going to be using at any point, tomorrow, day after, 2 months from now, doesn't really matter. And this is usually for buttercream that I plan to be piping with or that I'm storing for a long time. So this is buttercream that I'm actually using tomorrow, but because I'm going to be piping with it, I rolled it into this sausage so I can just snip the end off and plop it right in my piping bag. This is also how I package it when I'm storing it in the freezer, so I would just write on it the date that I made it and the type of buttercream that it was, and then these can go in the freezer. They're very easy to store, you can line them all up, and they're easy to bring back to room temperature, pull out as many as you need for whatever project. This is my favorite way to store them. Bowl, Tupperware, piping bag, sausage.